Hello everyone, welcome to day 28th of June Lead Code Challenge, and today's question is swim in rising water. So I'll be explaining the question and the solution in the presentation. Without much ado, let's look at the presentation. Lead code 778, swim in rising water. So let's try and understand the problem and let's try to extract the key points of the problem. The first one being the water level increases with time and is directly proportional to the number of units of time that have elapsed. You can move across four directions from the current position: top, bottom, left and right. You need to calculate the minimum amount of time to reach the last column and last row, provided you are starting from the 0th column and 0th row. So this is your start point, this is your finish point, your goal point. Also, the most important caveat that is specified in the question is you can swim from one tile to its adjacent tile only and only if the elevation of both the tiles individually are at most t. So what does that mean? Sounds confusing, right? So let's try and understand it by an example. If you are at this position and you want to reach it adjacent nodes, this one or this one, so for reaching the lower one, 9 units of time must have elapsed so that you can swim from a lower node to a higher node. 9 units of time, because the value that is held at this node is 9. So for reaching this node, 9 units of time must have elapsed. For reaching this node, 1 unit of time must be elapsed. So if you are at this position, and now how many options do you have? Either you can go in right, down, left or up. Up doesn't exist, left is already gone. So you have only two options, either this one or this one. So how much time must be elapsed if you want to move in the right direction? 8 position, 8 units of time. So remember this property. If you want to reach the bottom direction, bottom tile, 2 units of time must be elapsed. Now let's talk about the actual approach. We will be using the Dijkstra algorithm. The Dijkstra is nothing but BFS with the priority queue. You pull out elements from the priority queue of the BFS traversal on some basis, and that basis would be the level of water or the elevation that is currently held at that node or tile. So let's try and understand it by a very simple example. We have a grid of 3 cross 3 and the water levels are something like this: 0, 1, 8, 4, 2, 7, 5, 3, 6. And let's try and analyze what would be the answer for a swimmer to reach from this position to the bottommost position. Let's hypothetically assume that he chooses this path. Then how much time would be elapsed in order to reach this node? 6, the maximum one in across this path. So this would be 6. In case he chooses a different path, something on this line, then what would be the maximum time elapsed in order to reach the last node? That would be 8, the maximum one across this path. Because if you are starting from here 0 to 1, one amount of time must have been elapsed. From 1 till 8, 8 units of time must be elapsed. From 8 to 7, 8 will cover the 7 timestamp, so you don't need to worry about 7, the lower value. Similarly, you don't need to worry about the 6 value, which is lower than 8 again. Now takeaways from this hypothesis: if the value of the neighboring node is higher, the time elapsed increases. If the value of the neighboring node is lower, the time elapsed doesn't get affected, is not affected by it. For solving this, I have created a class that represents the tile information, the x coordinate, the y coordinate, and the time that must be elapsed in order to reach this x and y coordinate. I have created a priority queue. Why priority queue? Because in the Dijkstra, the core basis is BFS on a basis of something, and for identifying that basis, we need a priority queue. I have the generic type tile here, and whenever I want to make choice of pulling out elements from this priority queue, I'll pull out the one with least time elapsed. I missed least here. So just remember these few points. And now let's start with the iteration. Let's start the iteration. We are at 0,0 index and the water level here is 0. So we will add it into the priority queue and initialize the least time as 0. And since we are already at this node, we'll mark it as visited. Visited array is there in order to avoid recursive loops. So next we'll pull out elements from this priority queue and the least one will be pulled out. So this is gone, and from this position, which all directions can you go? You can go either in the right direction or bottom direction. And if we want to go in the right direction, how much time must be elapsed? 1 second. So we'll dump 1 second into the priority queue with the coordinate of its neighboring node 0,1. Similarly, if we want to reach this particular node, how much time must be elapsed? 4 seconds. So we'll dump 4 into the priority queue with its coordinates 1,0. And let's continue the process. Next, we'll pull out elements from the priority queue. And which one will we pull out? The one with least time elapsed. So this is gone, and we'll update our least time variable to 1. So this gets updated to 1. And from this node, in which all directions can you go? Either right or bottom. If you want to go in the right direction, how much time must be elapsed? 8 seconds. So we'll add 8 into the priority queue and its x coordinate and y coordinate. Similarly, if you want to reach this particular node, how much time must be elapsed? 2 seconds. So we'll add 2 into the priority queue. And what is its coordinate? 1,2. Let's continue the process, and this time we'll pull out the one with the least time elapsed. Out of these two, which one is the least time elapsed? This one. So this is gone, and we'll update our least time from 1 to 2. If you are at this particular node, in which all directions can you go? Right, bottom, left, up. So up is already visited, 4 is already there in the priority queue. You can't go in these two directions. You only have right or bottom. So you'll add them into the priority queue. So 7 gets added because for reaching this particular node, 7 units of time must be elapsed, and it coordinates are 1,2. So this is 1,2. I think I made a mistake here. It should be 1,1 and it should be 1,1 here. So never mind. Let's continue. And if I want to go in the bottom direction, this node, how much time must be elapsed? 3. So I'm adding the coordinates 2,1. Now out of these 4, 3, 7, 8 and 4, which one has the least time elapsed? 3. So we'll pull out 3 and we'll update the least time to the updated value, which is 3. From 3, in what all directions can you go? Up, right and left. Up was already part of the priority queue. We can't go there. We have either right or left. So we'll add both of them into the priority queue, and 6, 2, 2 gets added into the priority queue. Similarly, 5, 2, 0 gets added into the priority queue, and we'll mark them as reachable. Now let's pull out elements on the priority queue. Which one will be pulled out? We have 5, we have 6, we have 7, we have 8, we have 4. The one with the least time elapsed will be pulled out, so this is gone, and this would result in increasing the least time elapsed to 4 because we got a higher value. 4 coordinates were 1, 0, this one. So in what all directions can you go? Up, right, left, bottom, in all these 4 directions. But since all of them are already part of the priority queue, so you can't do anything about it. You will stay as it is and continue the process. Now we have 5, 6, 7 and 8 into the priority queue. Which one will be pulled out? The 5th one. So this is pulled out, and the time elapsed gets increased by 5. The least time gets increased by 5. From 5, where all can you go? Right, up only. and these two were already part of the priority queue, you can't do anything about it. You'll have to continue the process. Next, we will pull out 6 from the priority queue, because out of 6, 7 and 8, 6 is the least time elapsed. So this is gone, and least time gets updated from 5 to 6. Also, you will observe that the coordinates of this node is 2, 2, which is a terminal condition, the breaking condition for us, because we want to reach the bottom row and the bottom column. Since we have reached the bottom row and bottom column, we'll abort the process. And this is our answer, 6, which is correct. So without much ado, let's look at the coding section. Talk less, code more. I have done exactly the same thing as I told in the algorithmic part. I have created a private class style, x, y, and a time elapsed private members of this class, and I have defined a constructor for it. I have defined a static directions variable so as to move in the 4 directions: top, right, bottom, and left. If you add your these values to your x and y coordinates, you will generate your next move in all the 4 directions: up, right, bottom, and left. So I have created another array of size n cross n of data type boolean so as to let me know whether I have visited this node in the past or not. I defined a priority queue of generic type tile that returns me the least time elapsed node whenever I pull out elements from it. As a default case, I added the initial tile 0, 0 and held the value whatever there was in the node. I have initialized the least time variable to the grid value at 0, 0th index, and I updated my visited of 0, 0 to true because we are already standing at the 0, 0 index and it's reachable from there. I start the iteration, I pull out the current tile from the priority queue that will give me the tile with least time elapsed, and I update my answer variable least time with the maximum value of the current tile time versus the previous least time that I had. And in case my current tile x coordinate is equal to n minus 1 and my current tile y coordinate is equal to n minus 1, that is a breaking condition. You have reached your goal or finish point, you simply abort the process. Otherwise, you iterate in all the 4 directions, calculate the next y coordinate and the next x coordinate of the neighboring node, and check whether the node values, the coordinates are within the limits or not. Next x is less than 0 in case, or next x is greater than or equal to n, or next y is less than 0, or next y is greater than or equal to n. In all these 4 cases, I abort the process. We don't actually need to do anything because that's a boundary condition. Also, in case I have already visited that node in the past, that means it was added into the priority queue, I do not do anything, I just continue the process. Otherwise, I have updated my visited variable to true and added the next node into the priority queue with the value of its x coordinate, y coordinate, and the time that should be elapsed in order to reach this particular node. Once I am done with this complete logic, the queue becomes empty, or we reach the breaking condition, the finish point. We are out of this loop, and at last we simply return the least time. Let's try this up. Accepted. And what is the time complexity of this approach? The time complexity of the Dijkstra algorithm is order of n square log n, because you are moving across the grid, the complete grid, and the total number of elements that were there in the grid were n square, and since you were pulling out elements on the basis of some priority, log n gets added into it. I hope you enjoyed today's session. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching it, and have a great day ahead.